You want to read? I don't want to read.
No, we go
Who wants to read? I want to write. You want to write?
I want to write.
You want to read?
Well, we're kind of in the library.
We are kind of in a library. There's the librarians in around it. You know, this is making me a little nervous. Can I put it down like that? Okay. All right. How was this morning? Did you like that?
Yeah.
What'd you like about the writing that my piece? What kind of a piece was it?
Expository.
It was expository. It was. In particular, what was it? We have to be. I'm into being particular.
Like a letter, kind of?
It was a letter. But you remember what kind of writing it was? It was a letter. But I guess I'm thinking about specifically. It was expository, right? But there's a couple of different kinds of expository writing. Jake?
Nonfiction.
Well, yeah, it was kind of nonfiction. But I'm even thinking something different.
Oh, it had.
Yes.
Biography or autobiography?
Yeah, no. Good guess, though. What do you think, Emma?
It has all your opinions.
So guess what kind of writing it is? Say it again.
Persuade.
No.
Dang.
I know. No. Well, it is to inform broadly. But say it again, Emma. What kind of writing? What was I doing up there?
You were telling your opinion, and you shouldn't cut down these trees.
So what was the key word in what you just said? Opinion. Guess what kind of writing this is? Yeah, opinion. Yeah, and it's kind of hard because expository, because I think you were calling it expository. That's what I call it. But there's a couple of different kinds of expository. There's informational or explanatory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's opinion, right? What's the difference, do you think? What's the difference between informational writing?
She's not in here, Linda.
I don't think we have to raise. Are we all going to be considerate of everybody? Do we have to raise our hands? We're not going to yell over anybody, are we? So what do you think, Barrett? What is the difference? What is informational writing?
The difference between informational writing and persuading is
And let's call it opinion, not persuading, but opinion. Okay.
Because inform is telling you about something, and opinion is your thoughts from the inside.
Okay. Yeah. So how you feel about something. So they both are really to inform, right? But in informational or explanatory, you're being informed about facts. You're being informed about, right, something you learned or things like that. Where an opinion is informing somebody about how you feel about a certain thing, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So anyways, this is my piece here, but I have a couple of pieces of writing that I do. I do a lot of writing because I write about memories. What kind of writing is memory writing?
Narrative.
It is kind of narrative. It's a story, right? And a story can be real or made up, right? And then I do some informational kind of writing. What is informational kind of writing again?
Nonfiction.
Nonfiction, but give me that.
Expository.
Yes. Give me more. Before you said to inform, right? To inform about what?
History.
Okay, could be to inform about history.
Animals.
I'm thinking it's about to inform somebody about something that you've learned or something that you know. Is that informational? What do you think about that? And then there's opinion, right, where I'm trying to tell you about what I know, or what I think about something, or what I feel about something. Okay, so I've got a couple of different pieces of writing here. First of all, I want to talk about I want to hear about your opinion about something. But look at this one right here. We have this one, the topic is rolling over. People can see it. And then I have this one, which is an introduction. It talks about Tuesday by David Wiesner. All right, and then I have this one right here. If you look, it talks about sparring spiders, things like that. And it has a theme down here. I guess I wonder just quickly what kind of writing these different things would be. And looking at the different kinds of planning sheets, or different kind of planning sheets too that I've used, right? So what do you think? How about start with this one? What do you think about that one?
I think it's like trying to teach you like how to do it, so it's like informing you.
Okay, so
How
what?
to make your dog roll over.
Yeah. So what kind of writing is it?
Nonfiction.
Or?
Or
What did he tell you?
Expository.
Expository. So does everybody know that that's expository? So it is, and in particular, it's kind of like a how-to, right? How to teach a dog to roll over. Okay. What about this one? This is it's got a topic, which is sparring spiders. The audience is Angela, and then it's got a theme, which is different perspectives. What kind of writing do you think that is, Jake?
Fiction.
Okay.
Narrative.
Okay, fiction or narrative kind of writing. And so this is going to be a story, right? And a lot of times I use a web to write a story, right? And I usually use this kind of thing for my informational piece. And then what about this one right here? This is, it's about a book, Tuesday, by David Wiesner. What do you think about this one? What kind of
Fiction like this one because porcupines don't fly.
Okay. All right. Well, anybody think differently? If I'm writing a book about Tuesday, and then here, let me read the conclusion. Maybe that'll help us too. Tuesday, every time you read it, you'll notice more and more. You'll love it, and you'll want to read it over and over again.
It's entertaining.
It's what?
Entertaining.
Because an entertaining book is made for people to read over and over and over and tell it to everybody.
Yeah. Do you recognize the planning sheet I used?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's for
Nonfiction kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you? Where have you seen me use this?
Just today when you were showing us.
Yeah. What kind of writing did I use that planning sheet for?
A letter.
What kind of writing was it? Opinion writing. And this is a book on Tuesday that that I'm trying to. So what kind of writing do you think if I'm using that graphic organizer? Could it be opinion writing? So a lot of times, I might do a book review. Have you ever talked about a book review?
Yes.
And a book review is kind of like an opinion, right? Okay. All right. Perfect. So I just like to kind of show people about the different kind of writing. All right. You got any opinions?
My opinion is that vanilla ice cream is better than chocolate.
Okay. What opinions do you have?
I think cats are better than dogs because
Uh-huh.
dogs try to jump on you
Uh-huh.
and then cats just stay there.
Okay.
And they
What's an opinion you have?
I think dogs are way better than cats.
Oh, you do the same thing. So this okay. So we each have our own opinion, right? We feel differently, we think differently. But I was interested in something this morning, right? Did you listen to the announcements this morning?
Yes.
You did.
Jake.
Uh-huh. And I was listening to something about shamrocks. Do you know anything about
Oh,
shamrocks?
yes,
What
our
do you know about
shamrock.
shamrocks?
It's on our quiet chart,
Uh-huh.
and we do for lunch. Whichever, if you're quiet in the grade and you use in the lunchroom and you use a level 1 voice, you get a shamrock.
Okay.
But it's up to Miss Blau, and then Miss Blau is thinking of taking a shamrock off if you're too noisy.
Yeah. What do you think about that? How do you feel about that? That's what I was wondering. Emma, what do you think?
I think that's a little bit fair because sometimes the third grade and other grades get really noisy sometimes.
Mhm.
Because one time I was taking the lunch bin out, I could hear the second graders so loud.
Okay. All right. What other people think? So you're thinking you're comfortable with it? That's your feeling? Uh-huh. Anybody thinking anything differently? No? Okay. So I thought maybe we could kind of write this up. What do you think as an opinion piece? Okay. So, I've got the graphic organizer that I use, but I guess I wonder, how we're going to start thinking about this, right? How we're going to start writing it up. What are you going to think about when you plan this? So what,
I think of some ideas.
you do have to think of some ideas, and especially you have to think about 3 different kind of ideas too, right? What do you have to think about?
The introduction, the body, and the conclusion.
Yep, so if you're thinking about, and this is, for me, sometimes the hardest things to think about is, what part's the hardest thing to think about when you're writing? Ashley,
The body.
you think the body's the hardest?
Yeah.
Yep, Jake, what do you think?
Introduction, because it takes a while if you don't have anything in mind, you have to think
Uh-huh.
of it.
Emma, what do you think?
The conclusion is because I don't like how you have to say kind of like the same thing. I like to take it different.
Okay, and
So it
sometimes
sounds
hard to.
new.
Mhm. Okay, so I guess I want to talk about this. So if we're going to talk about the Shamrock thing, I guess I wonder, if you started to have to write about, an opinion piece about, the quiet chart, right, or whatever. How are you going to start it off? What would the introduction be like?
Ooh, today I'm talking about whatever you're going to talk about or write about.
Uh-huh. I guess I wonder if you always have to start that way about an opinion. You have to start. I think I'm going to talk about this. I wonder how you could start it. That might make it kind of interesting, for instance, to start talking about.
In our school, we have. Here's the thing. In our school, we have to. We have these shamrocks, and our lunch lady is deciding. No, the shamrocks are for if you're quiet, and you tell what the shamrocks are for. And yeah.
What? Yeah. Go ahead.
The lunch lady was trying to decide if she should take away shamrocks or keep them if we're noisy,
Mm-hmm.
and then you should say your opinion about it.
Okay, so the first thing we have to do is kind of maybe give some background, right?
Mhm.
Because someone might not know what's going on, right? So what's the background that you're talking about right now? The quiet chart, or is it the lunch ladies?
yes.
Right, okay, so that, but then what's the other thing that has to be in the introduction? Jake?
Being quiet and when you're showing us.
Well, that's part of the background, right? But what has to be in there right in the upfront?
The opinion.
The opinion. So you have to talk about, so it's gonna be, starting with the background, right? What's the background? And then what's your opinion, right, up front? So what do you think about starting there when you write this? But I guess here's my question to you. I want notes from you, right? I don't want you writing out, are you gonna do all the hard work right now? No. So I want you to think about, so what are you gonna be doing right now? What are you gonna be thinking about as you plan your introduction? Go ahead, Emma.
How to shorten it up
Mhm.
so you can keep it as an idea and still know what it is.
Okay, so right now, I want you to think about the introduction. I want you to think about what background needs to be there, right? And then what your opinion is. Let's start with the background, and then let's have some bullets. And how many words should be in each bullet, do you think? Jake?
Like 5.
Okay. What do you think, Emma?
4.
Do I hear 3? All right, so I'm thinking that every bullet should have 3, 4, or 5 words to it, right? Because, right? And then, how many bullets do you think you should have for the whole introduction? So, how many bullets for the whole introduction? We already said that each bullet's gonna have 3, 4, or 5 words.
3.
14 bullets?
No, 2 bullets. No, 3 bullets in each of them. 1, 2, 3.
I'm missing 2.
Okay, so, but let's just do I'm just talking about the introduction right now. All you're gonna do is write the introduction. So how many bullets for the introduction?
3.
Ashley?
I'd say about maybe 4.
All right, I'm kind of in agreement with that. I'm thinking you're gonna have 4 bullets. All right, so, and then here's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about what's gonna be the background. You know what I mean by background, right? We have to give people some background. And then what's gonna be your opinion? So how many bullets are gonna be the opinion, are gonna be the background, maybe?
2 and then 2 for opinion.
Could be, or,
3 and then 1 for the
yeah, it could be 2 and 2, or it could be 3 and 1, right? All right, so right now, would you just take a few minutes? I want you to think about the Shamrock. I want you to think about this introduction of, putting the background down and then putting your opinion down. And how many bullets? 4 bullets, but how many words in each bullet?
3 to 5.
3 to 5. Okay, go ahead, do that right now, and then we'll share out what you came up with. So as they're working, that's just kind of what I was thinking about was, how do we, what support they need to know, what goes on there. I was thinking about what we talked about earlier, which is, how do we name those things that they need to be doing? So all of a sudden they were talking, I was thinking, well, background would be one thing that they might need to put up there. So part of the intro could be background, write an opinion. We were talking about introductions before, so how would we name that so kids, could have something to choose from when they're looking at writing different opinions. Does that make sense to people? And then the other thing I was thinking about as they're doing this is, you know, how specific do I need to be about the things they need to put down there, right? So that's why I was thinking, helping them name the number of bullets, helping them name how many, you know, how many words they need to have in there. So it's gonna be interesting just to see what they come up with. So, any thoughts about that? What are you thinking? I mean, here's the thing, I guess I just wanna put out there, is I don't know what they're gonna end up with, but this is gonna help me think about, you know, is this appropriate, is it not appropriate, right? And that's what, you know, I take everything I do as an assessment, right, to think, oh, I need to change it a little bit, but I guess I wanna put out there that I'm not afraid to try these things and see what happens, and then I could fall flat on my face, and then I have to go back and revamp it, right, so. Any thoughts about that?
Maybe after we see what
Say it again.
after we see what they wrote.
Yeah, that's right, David, didn't work. So Jake, I'm just checking, are you being very careful about the number of words you're using? Mhm. How many words are you using in each bullet?
5, 6.
7.
So when you think about choosing words for your bullets, what do you have to think about? Yes?
They don't have to make sense all the time.
Well, they have to make sense, but they don't have to flow. They don't have to kind of flow like a sentence.
They did this.
Right. So that's one thing. But do you have to be thinking about what are the most important words that I need to put down there? So that's right. So when you're thinking, when you think about the sentence in your head, you have to think, well, what are the 3, 4, or 5 important words that I need to be thinking about to put my notes down there, right? Okay. And as soon as I was looking, Jake, at your paper, I was thinking, too many words. All right. How are you doing with your number of words? Are you sticking to 3, 4, and 5? Don't erase the whole thing. I want you just to, all you have to do is erase you have to erase the words that aren't important, right? And then you'll be left with the important words, right?
That's half a word.
And then we'll help you with the note part afterwards if we need to. Don't erase the whole thing. What word could you erase there that you think might not be as important? Mm-hmm. Oh.
Do you have 6 someone? Is that okay?
No.
Because it won't make sense if I have it out.
All right. Read me what you have right now.
Because I was gonna, Miss Blau has a quiet chart, Shamrock on.
Okay. Let's talk the first one. Read me the first bullet.
Miss Blau has a quiet chart.
All right. How about if you take out has?
Okay.
If you take out has, what will you have?
Miss Blau's quiet chart.
Uh-huh. Is that gonna be enough? All right, a lot of times I put a little hyphen, you know, is it blouse?
Miss Blau,
All right, hyphen, and then what was the next couple of words?
quiet chart.
Yep, you don't have to use words like in and the and has. Those are not important words when you're taking notes. The important word would be Miss Blouse, right? Lunchroom, shamrocks, you know, things like that. That's what's gonna be important to remember, right?
I was gonna do if they're, make them gone if they're loud, or keep them if we're quiet, but I don't know how to make that short, it just doesn't sound.
All right, give me the sentence. What do you wanna say?
Make them gone or keep, but that doesn't sound, doesn't really.
How
sound
about
good.
shamrocks? Right, you're talking about the shamrocks?
Uh-huh, I did that on the second one, shamrocks on the chart.
Okay, how about this, and then how about shamrocks, gone, or what was the other one?
Or keep.
How about shamrocks, gone, or keep, or gone / keep? What do you think about that?
I like that.
You like it?
Mhm.
Okay. Sometimes I'm helpful. But this is important, isn't it? Because you don't wanna have to do everything down, you just wanna, you wanna be able to look at this and remember. Are you gonna be able to remember, Emma, what that means?
Yeah,
I think so too.
I can remember almost
Is she
everything.
not funny?
Say it again.
Is she not funny?
Remember you remember the words I was struggling with? What words, what was I struggling with?
Tree lined and committee.
Yes, I had trouble with, yeah. Shamrocks is one word.
Now spelling right
That's okay. But of course, if you're not sure, what are you gonna do?
Ask someone. Or you go look.
You're gonna look where?
And a dictionary or on the web.
All right, how we doing? Has everybody got their introduction done?
One more.
Yeah, one more.
Okay.
Did you check you have 4 bullets? Oh, you got an extra bullet, that's okay. How about this, do you have 3, 4, or 5 words in each bullet?
1, 2,
Shh, do it to yourself. Remember, you're looking for those words, if you have more than that, you're looking for those words that aren't important, that you can just erase or line out. Done. You feeling good?
No, I'm doing good. Just makes me feel weird when I don't write.
Okay. I quit in
Alright.
to 6s.
I know. Get it down to 5.
Yeah. Okay.
And what are you looking for right now? What are you looking for right now to get it down to 5 words?
Is and or has, or they.
Are you looking for the words you don't need, like in and the, and what else don't you need? Is and a, those aren't important words, right? How about you, Jake? How are you feeling about your notes? How many bullets do you have?
4.
How many words in each one?
3 to 4.
3 to 4. Are they all the important words? Are you sure? Who's gonna be the judge? Yes. How you doing, Barrett?
Good.
Okay.
We have quite
Is weave and like 2 words mixed together for we have?
Say it again.
Is weave 2 words mixed together for we have?
Yes.
But I think it would sound weird in this sentence.
Well, it's not a sentence, remember that, right? It's not a sentence, is it? What are they?
Notes.
They're notes. Does it have to, I mean, it has to make sense. It doesn't have to be a sentence though, right? Like Mrs. Blau's,
Quiet chart.
what is it?
Just blouse, quiet chart.
Yep, quiet chart, that's it, just enough to remember. So, what do you have that you're struggling, give me one that you're struggling with.
Well, with saying we have it, at my school we have these and
Have what?
I did ... because I'm gonna finish the sentence on my
Okay.
copy.
Why, were you gonna say shamrocks?
Yeah.
For quiet? Why can't you, if you leave out the school part and just put shamrocks, school?
At my
Yep, we're gonna take out all those words that aren't important, and we're just gonna put shamrocks, my school, maybe quiet chart or something like that.
In my opinion, can you put like, I think okay? Because
What are you gonna put?
I think it's okay if she takes it off the quiet
So what are your notes gonna say?
For I said for the opinion, I think it's okay.
Okay,
Because
so
if I
can we
did
just, so first of all, can we just have, okay,
Okay.
shamrocks, or something like that?
Okay.
But can you think of another word besides okay? I'm trying to think of an opinion word, so you think it's okay, what else do you think about it? Do you
I
think
think
it's
it's
appropriate?
fair.
Okay, you think it's fair, there's another good word, fair shamrocks, or something like that, right? Is that your opinion, that it's fair? So notes would be fair, right, fair shamrocks, it doesn't have to be very much. Is that gonna help you remember what your opinion is?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
I just don't like it not making sense.
You don't like that? It's uncomfortable writing notes?
Yeah.
All right, should we start and just see what we ended up with?
Yes.
All right, because this is kind of a little practice, isn't it? We're practicing doing what right now?
Writing
Opinion.
And taking notes, right? Okay. All right, who wants to start out telling me their bullets? Emma.
Miss Blau's quiet chart.
All right,
Shamrock on chart.
yes,
Shamrock gone or keep in fair shamrock. or
Okay.
opinion.
okay. So, what do you think, everybody? Do you think that's gonna help her write? She's gonna give her enough background and it's gonna be able to, she's gonna get a good paragraph out of there, do you think? All right, I think that's okay. I think that sounds good. It sounds like, she's got some good notes and it sounds like she'll have the background. It sounds like she'll be able to write about her opinion, right? Okay. Jake, you wanna do yours?
Yeah.
Okay, go slow and do each bullet so we can listen to it.
Lunch teacher Shamrocks. Off chart Miss Blau thinking.
I'm sorry, say that one again.
Off chart Mrs. Blau thinking. Kids too loud at lunch. Okay.
I wanna go back to that one. Read it again.
Kids too loud at lunch.
All right, what word's not important?
At.
Yes, take it out.
And then okay, fair to take Shamrocks.
Say it again.
Okay, fair, take Shamrocks.
Okay. All right, so you got background. What other people think? Do you think he's gonna have enough to write that introduction? I think so too. Barrett, do you wanna go next?
Yeah.
Okay, how you feeling?
Good.
Okay.
At lunch we have quiet chart. Miss Blau put Shamrock.
All right, can you go slower? Do the first one again.
At lunch we have quiet chart.
I know, you got too many useless words there.
Oh.
So wait a minute, so before you erase, because you've been erasing a lot, what are the not important words?
At
Yes,
we
yes,
have.
yes. Take them out. You're gonna remember this, Barrett, next time, that these are not, when you're taking notes, are they important words when you're writing a sentence?
No.
Yes.
Yes. You can't write a sentence without them, but can you write notes without them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, you're gonna do your second bullet,
Yeah.
and here's what I want you to do. Read it without, do you have unimportant words in there?
Yep.
Okay,
Miss Blau put Shamrock's chart.
okay.
If loud, gone, Shamrock. Keep, I think okay.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so that's your opinion, right there? Okay.
When get Shamrocks more recess? When we get
Okay,
recess.
is that part of the opinion, or is that part of the background?
That's part of the back.
So what do you have? Do you have your opinion, and, well, don't erase. Here's what I
I
want.
should number it.
Love it.
1,
I just
2,
put it in order from the top.
4, 3.
Okay, so that's a perfect. A lot of times you can, think about it in order, but like what he just did was perfect, because sometimes our mind doesn't think that way, so we put down, right? And then when you read it, you have to say, oh, where does this belong, right? So I love that, and that's exactly, because did I do that with you? Yeah, okay, all right. All right, so we have an introduction, and then here's the other thing. What do you have to think about? What's gonna come next? Actually, did everybody write introduction up here?
No.
Will you write on the top, above write introduction?
Spell it.
Take a risk.
Take
a risk. Better take a risk. Introduction. You can check it later. Introduction. All right. And of course, if it's a word you don't know, what are you gonna do?
Circle it.
And then what are you gonna do?
Figure it out.
And then what are you gonna do?
Figure it out. Maybe on
Oh,
Google or
dictionary.
All right, you're gonna go to a dictionary and look it up, right, if you have to spell it, right? Then what goes on the line for the next section?
the body.
Yes? Body slash, we're gonna take notes there, body, down, around here, we're gonna go body slash, what?
Quiet chart.
No,
Resources.
no,
Reasons.
reasons, body slash reasons, that's gonna be paragraph number, you're okay. Do I have trouble with my spelling? But we have to fix it, right? Okay. Body slash reasons, I love it, and Jake's jumping ahead, what did you do, Jake? Conclusion. What are you gonna have to do for the body? I'm gonna send you back right now, but what are you gonna do for the body? I just want you to tell me, articulate, what are you gonna do for the body?
Number. Wait,
Yes,
you're gonna number with. Oh wait, that's after. You're gonna have to have reasons.
Okay, how many reasons am I expecting you to have?
3,
Yes.
4,
Well, how many boxes do you have for how many reasons?
3.
3, so I'm expecting 3. You know, if you're struggling, I expect at least 2, but I'd like you to try for 3 reasons, right? But if you can't figure out 3, I don't want you to add something that's not important, right? So 2 or 3 reasons. How many bullets in each of those boxes do you think?
3 to 4.
I'm thinking 2 to 3. Okay? And then, how many bullets down below for the conclusion?
4.
Which would be kind of similar to what?
The introduction.
Where does most of, what part, the introduction, the body, the conclusion has to have the most writing?
The body.
Yes, why does the body have to have most of the information, Ashley?
Because it has the most writing in it.
Yeah, what's the purpose of an introduction?
To just get you wanting to read it.
And what's the purpose, it's about getting, filling people in or telling them, getting them to want to read it. What's the purpose of the conclusion?
Ooh.
Ashley, what's the purpose of the
I want
conclusion?
you to make to make it not end to make it not just end at the end of the body,
Right.
because then it will feel like it's not a full story.
Right, we have to be able, is this a story?
No, a narrative.
No.
Opinion. Okay.
All right, it's an opinion piece, and we don't want, we just can't end with some information from the opinion, right? We have to, we will be wondering, right? So we have to close it, right? That's the purpose, all right? And 4 bullets, okay. And I'm gonna send you off, and you're gonna take notes. You're not gonna write a sentence in those boxes, right? What are you gonna write?
Notes.
How many notes in each bullet?
3 or 2.
3.
5.
3 or 2.
3, and each bullet's gonna have 3, 4, or 5 words. You're not gonna put what, Barrett?
Put 7 or
As is.
there's
Right.
as we have and stuff like that.
Okay, I think you've got it, okay.
And
I think we're all set. Are we done? I think so too. I think you got a good start, right? All right,
So we have to finish this on a.
yes. Well, you have to finish, here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to at least do your body at some point today, see if you have time to do the body. And maybe we can come down, maybe we can pick them up in a little bit. Is that okay? Will they have time? I guess, who's the sub? It's not the principal anymore, is it?
No, it's
it's Miss
All right, do you think she'll let you work on this?
because I finished we finished all our work.
Oh,
I think
is that-
We might have a new subject to do, so we might have to finish that, and then we'll, in our free time, we'll be able to do that.
yeah, like literacy, or she might be having them all read right now, and we can do this part there.
You people are delightful.
Yay.
I think I like you.
Okay, I need to tell you guys how your story that you said in the class is about action trees, because that's what my name means.
Oh, is that what it means? Very cool. Okay. All right, I don't know. You're gonna take them down, Deanie, so.